All right, so we left off on 33, object initialization. David S., can you read this?
Object initialization. Use the object literally or initializer syntax to create single objects. Object consists of properties which are used to describe an object. Values of object properties can either contain primitive data types or other objects.
And again, we covered objects last week. It's kind of like a list with key value or dictionary with key value pairs, the name, and then the value, and you retrieve the value by doing like James.name's gonna get James, or James.age is gonna get 21, or also the other way with the brackets to initialize it, or to get it. Oh, well, anyway, there's your answer for that one. Make sure you put brackets when you've got your key value pairs. Brian A., can you read this one?
Spaces and lines breaks are not important. An object defined can span multiple lines. No matter how the object is created, the syntax for assessing the priorities and methods does not change. Don't forget about the second accessing syntax, John H.
Is properties, accessing the properties. Okay. Oh, dang it. I keep doing that. Well, anyway, there you go.
What was the answers for the first one?
Just brackets.
Okay.
And then this one, category, and their closing parentheses. Well, that was mostly just a review because we'd covered all that before, but oops. And Bill C., can you read this one?
Yeah, give me just a second here.
Oh, okay, we'll move on. We'll come back to you. Patricia, can you read this one?
Yeah. Methods. Methods are functions that are stored as object properties. Use the following syntax to create an object method. Method name equals function, and then the squiggly lines, colons, okay. Access an object method using the following syntax. A method is a function belonging to an object. It can be referenced using this keyword. This keyword is used as a reference to the current object, meaning that you can access the object's properties and methods using it. Defining methods is done inside the inside a constructor function. In the example above, we have defined a method named change name for our person, which is a function that takes a parameter name and assigns it to the name property of the object. This dot name refers to the name property of the object. The change name method changes the object's name property to its argument. And then there's a practice test.
Okay, so you guys remember functions, hopefully. But again, you just pass information into functions. So in this example right here, what they're doing, or you pass information into functions and it gives you some sort of output. But in this one right here, so we've got the object. So initially we create the object as David, but then we use the name change function, which you just do this and then, the variable name of what you want it to be, just like you would do, dot name or whatnot. And then, what you want the function to do. And in this case, it's passing in name So whatever gets passed into that function, so this name right here is not this name right here. This name right here is what gets passed into this function here. And then it changes this dot name, which is up here, to the new name. So it just changes David to John, and the age is still the same. So like if we did p dot age, that hasn't changed. It's only changed the name. Any questions on that? Okay, well then go ahead and get started on this calculating the discount, and then just raise your hand once you're done. All right. Looks like a lot of you've got it. So, all right. Store manager needs a program to set discounts for a product. The program should take the product ID, price, and discount as input and output the price discounted. However, the price change method should calculate the discount is incomplete. Fix it. So with some random user input, so we take we create the object, a new instance of product as product 1, and here's product right here. It saves the product ID, the price, and then it has a function to do the discount. And when we pass in the price change discount, so it passes it into here and takes the discount amount, multiplies it by 0.01, and that's so that it becomes the percentage. And then the discount takes the price multiplied by the discount amount, and then we take the price and subtract the discount amount right here. So any questions on that one, or is anybody still struggling with it?
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Okay, can you do screen share? And you guys can put your hands down. Okay, so let's start with the function. So the first thing you're gonna need to do is you're gonna want to change it to a percentage that you can then multiply by. So let's start with that. So just create a variable and name it whatever you want to represent the discount amount. Yeah. Maybe call it dis amount or something, or dis percent or something. Well, wait, no, you were right with the creating the variable part.
Oh,
The var, yeah.
or
But then you just have to name your variable. So what is that you got there? I can't see what. Oh no, you need to name it first. So let's just call it just like I did. Just call it the discount. No, not this. You can't do this because it's a thing. I just put DA, or yeah. Well, it can't be discount because discount's a thing. That's why we need to name it something else. Like, yeah, DA discount works.
shit.
Or just DA DIS works too. And then equals, and then discount times 0.01. And you just select discount right there.
Yeah. Discount
Times 0.01. And then just put your what's it called? Your semicolon. And then go to the next line and create another variable called, we'll just call it dis amount, DIS amount. and then equals this dot price. And then times the dis, or it looks like you put DAIS, so times DAIS, that variable we just created. And then your semicolon. And then on the next line, just do this dot price minus equals this amount.
Minus equals what?
This amount, the variable we just created above. You put an I, it's just or you put an A,
Oh.
it's just DIS amount. There you go, you can just choose that. And then your semicolon. And then I think everything else, hit run. We'll see if there's anything else we need to add. Okay. Oh, you put a colon instead of a semicolon on I think line 20.
Oh.
Okay, try running it again. Maybe it was line 19. I can't really see, it's pretty small.
There we go.
There we go. All right. Does anybody else need help, or you guys got it? If you need help, just speak up now. Otherwise, we're going to be moving on.
I could use some help. I think I messed something up.
Okay, can you do screen share? Okay. Okay, you on line 21, you did minus equals the discount, but it needed to be this amount. Oh, you're missing the IS.
This amount.
Okay, try running that.
That's what it was. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else need help? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, moving on then. All right. So hopefully you guys also moved on and did the next question. And so the next question, this method, this keyword in the method means the current object. All right. Patricia, did you already read? Oh, okay. Lewis, can you read?
Yes, methods. You can also define the function outside of the constructor function and associate it with an object. As you can see, we have assigned the object's year of birth property to the born year function. This keyword is used to access the age property of the object, which is going to call the method. Note that it's not necessary to write the function's parentheses when assigning it to an object.
Okay. And take a second and answer the next question. And so if you're unclear on this, this is the same as if we didn't have this parentheses right here and we just put this dot born year equals function blah blah blah. Does that make sense to y'all, or do you have any questions on that? No. Okay, so answer here is my method. Michael East, can you read this one?
Yep. Methods. Call the method as usual. Call the method by the property name you specified in the constructor function rather than the function name.
Okay, so we'll do the try it yourself. So with this one, so again, it's the same as if we did this and we had it in there, or we did born year function equals function blah blah blah, right? So like you don't have to create the function inside the object, you can create it out and then just reference it here. So but you can still do the same thing, you this dot year of birth and it'll still get the same thing. So any questions on that?
Why is the variable a? How does that, is that like just a special
That's just what
code?
that's just the name they gave it, probably because they were lazy. Like it could have been, you know, John or something. It doesn't matter. It's not called, so it's really not important. But like if we did call it as a, we just do p dot name. I'll get rid of that, and it's just the name. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I see the formula and everything, so, but I was just unsure what the a was. Because all
Yeah,
you're really
it's just
doing
the
is
name they
subtracting
gave it.
2016 minus 22, which
Yeah,
gives you
it's just the name that they assigned to it, but probably because they didn't feel like typing out a whole name, so they just put a,
okay.
since they weren't going to reference it anyway. All right.
Can you explain this, like the breakdown of this? Like they assigned the function's name, and then I guess they identified it, they named it.
Well, here they're creating an object, right? So it's a function, yes, but it's more of an object because we're
Can you clarify real quick the difference between, I mean, I understand the different names, but like with this specific example, what makes this an object, I guess?
well, because it's got an initializer. So when it does the this dot name, this dot age, so it's taking these variables here. So like right here, they're creating a new instance of the object and passing in a and 22 for the age, right? And then they are so that they've assigned that in this new instance right here, and then they've attached, if you do the dot year of birth function, then it's going to return this function right here. I don't know if I'm really answering your question, but I get, long story short, what I was saying, it was because they have the, you know, this dot name and you're using that as the initializer. That's why it's more of an object than just a function. Like, yes, it could also be a function, but generally a function is something like, well, more like this right here on line 6 through 8, where it takes some sort of value and like does something with it and then returns it, right? Does that make more sense? Like function, right?
Functional, so like a variable standalone makes sense to me, a function standalone makes sense to me, but I think once we talk about functions within or objects made up of functions, I can start to get a little blurred.
Yeah, yeah, and it's so just if you recognize the this, if you see the this dot, whatever for the variable names, then it's an object because it's got an initializer. The this dot, whatever is an initializer because you have to pass some variables into it in order to create the object.
Okay.
Or else because if you don't, I mean, it won't even work. Well, it will. It would just default them as empty. But there'd be no point of it at that point. Does that answer your question or no? I can keep going if it doesn't. I want to make sure it is
sort of
clear.
does, but I want Lewis to be able to get his question answered too. I kind of jumped in. My bad, Lewis.
Oh, what was Lewis's question again? Sorry.
I am baffled. I'm trying to make sense of this stuff, man.
Okay, what was your question again? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm trying to understand it. I mean, something in a way that locks in because I'm not exactly sure.
Right. So, well, hold on. Let me let you finish.
Like how it operates. Can you like break down like the operation? So
yeah. Yeah. So first, let's define functions and variables real quick, right? So like a function is generally some code that you write so that you don't have to so that you can reuse it without having to rewrite the code. So does that make sense for function? Like at first, like you pass something into it so that it can do some sort of operation, return something that you're going to do multiple times without having to rewrite it. Does that part make sense?
Right. That would be what, line 6 and 7?
Yeah. Okay. So that's a regular function. And a regular variable, again, we've used that a lot, is just like the var the house, I don't know, equals address. I don't know, something, right? So like a variable is kind of like a key value pair where if you reference this name, you get whatever the value is, right? So we're using variables in this object that we pass in. So like first we write the function right here of what we want it, what parameters we want it to take, right? We want it to take the name and age and store that, right? And in this case also store this function right here, right? But then to create it, we have to do new and then the name of the object and pass in some parameters. And in this case, we're passing in the name because the name's the first one, is A, and then age is 22. So now it's kind of like name and age are variables, right? With the A and 22 as the value. So does that part make sense?
Yes.
So far? Okay, cool. And then just the last part is we can also, with it being an object, that we can reference it by person dot year of birth. We can call this function as well. So in this particular instance, this function returns, okay, it takes 2016 minus the age. So I mean, really, let's make this 2022, so it's accurate, right? And then it returns what we have stored in the variable age, which is for this instance of the object is 22, right? But we could create another instance of the object and we'll just call it num2. It's our second object, and let's change it to B and 34, right? And now if we call 2 dot year of birth, so for P, for this instance where we pass in age 22, the year of birth for a 22-year-old is 2000. For somebody who's 34, their year of birth is 1988. Because you can create multiple instances of the object. You just change the variable name here and the parameters, and then you've got new objects to work with. Does that make sense or still not? I can keep going if it's not making sense.
Yeah, I did clear it up a little bit. Thank you.
Okay, good. Anybody else have questions on this? Michael East, did I answer your question too?
It did. It actually did help.
Okay.
I have one more question. I'm afraid it's going to sound a little
No, it's fine.
redundant. What makes all of this a method or calling? I'm just that word. I don't even know where it comes into play in this now.
Oh, okay. The method is this right here. Passing in a function to an object is a method.
Okay.
It's the method of the object.
So the method is more or less the sequence of the chain of commands we're going to give it, given an object and a function. I guess, well, how would you, if you had to explain to a 5-year-old what a method is, what would you say?
Keep in mind, we're a bunch of 5-year-olds, Brandon. Come on.
I don't know how I'd explain it to a 5-year-old. But I mean, the simplest way I can say it is that a method is a function inside an object. So I don't think a 5-year-old would understand that, but hopefully since
this
y'all
5-year-old
learned
did.
some of this, you do. So it's just any function that's inside an object. So like, this year of birth is the method of this, and you can have multiple.
Because the year of birth is
Calling
equals
a function.
It has to call a function to figure out what the year of birth is.
Right. Yeah.
And the function is subtracting whatever variable age from the year born,
Right.
or from the current year, I guess, in this case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Does that answer your guys' questions?
It's clear enough for me to not hold up the class any longer.
If you have more questions, ask, because it'll probably other people have the questions and they're just not asking. So seriously, does it clear it up all the way? Because if it doesn't, I'll keep going.
I think it does at an elementary level. I'll have to do more examples to start dialing it in.
Okay. Did anybody else?
Hey, Brandon.
Yes.
So I just want to try to explain it the way somebody explained it to me.
Okay.
Just trying to explain the notion of the object, right? So somebody explained to me that an object, let's say you wanted to build a house. And so you're going to build a template of that house. So the template, you would say, okay, every house would have maybe a bedroom. At least to have a house, you have to have at least 2 bedrooms, right? So you're going to create something called the house, and every house will have a bedroom. So maybe a bedroom and then a living room. So that's how you create your object. Now, if you want to build a house, at a minimum, you would have a bedroom and a living room. So that means, let's say somebody wants to come and create a house, you're going to take that template and say, okay, I'm creating a new instance of a house. That means at the minimum, it's going to have the bedroom and the living room. Those are the 2, like it's saying like this name, this age. Like the person would have at the bare minimum those 2. Does that make sense so far? So every time you want to create a new instance of the house, you know that it's going to have at least a bedroom and a living room. So that helped me a little bit understand the object from that sense. And then, like Brandon said, the function always does something. It returns a value. So that's how I was able to understand those 2, at least in terms of difference. So the object is just like a blueprint, and then you can use it if you want to create a new house. It's always going to have those 2 attributes. I don't know if that's how you call it. I don't know if that helps, but it did help me a little.
So kind of what he's talking about is like right here. All right, let's say you're a contractor, right? And you have you build like thousands of houses, right? But each one's different. And so like, or actually you probably also had this address equals address, right? And you just want to have different, information for each one. So like, actually, let's put address first because that would make more sense. So you want to, Jones Street. And Jones Street has 3 bedrooms. Well, let's actually change this to has 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and 1 living room, right? Except we would probably call this variable probably by the address 12331 Jones Street, right? And then your next house has that you built is on number whatever 3 Jones Street. But it has 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and 1 living room. And then at 104, the one next door, because you're building a whole bunch. It's a big one. It's got like 5 and 3 bedrooms and 2 living rooms or something, right? And then you're passing, it's kind of like a database where you're like passing the information into it. And then if you ever need to know how many bathrooms or how many bedrooms at that address, you just retrieve it. What did I do?
Your variable starts with a number.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so if we go it's still not working. All right, what do I do? Oh, it's not a function. There we go. It's still not working. All right. Oh, let's get rid of this. Oh, wait, I've got bedrooms on here twice. Okay, this is supposed to be bathrooms.
In front of your first one, should you have that I?
Yeah, I put that so that it would work.
Your function still has 2 bedrooms.
On line 1, bedrooms is on there twice as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, there we go. Good catch. There you go. So then if you ever need to know what that address is, number of bedrooms, like you could retrieve it that way. So I think that was kind of what you were saying, right? Right, Fabian?
Not correct.
Oh, no, that's not what you were saying. Oh,
Yes, that's what I was saying. In terms of you have a blueprint and then you can use the blueprint to start building some houses, but those houses can be different from one another. But they all will have the same number of elements inside it. Like every house will have a bathroom, every house will have bedroom, house will have a living room, and every house will have an address. But they will be different one from another.
Yeah.
That's how I was explaining the object. So you can always use that blueprint as many times as you want to build a new house. And then just change the number of bedroom, the number that he has to have a bedroom and stuff like that. So
yeah. Okay. Any more questions on that? Okay. All right. So moving on. Take a second to answer the next question. All right. In order to use the object's properties within a function, use the this keyword. All right. I think we just covered that, right? Yeah.
We're at
Okay.
is
All right. Well, the first one is functions. An object's properties are similar to variables. Methods are similar to functions. All right. Take a second to answer the next one. Okay. What's the result of the following expression? Is 6 because there's 6 characters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So doing the dot length returns 6. All right, take a second to answer the next one. Okay. So passing in height, weight, and then the calculate method of the given object. So this right here, this calculate is, some sort of function that we just don't see here. But yeah, so height, weight, and calculates just the function. All right. Oh, all right, so take a second to do this and raise your hand once you're done. All right. This one seems to be taking y'all a while. Maybe it's more difficult. So let's go ahead and cover this one. So let's see. Print name and number. Okay. So with this one, it wants us to output the name and then a colon space followed by the number of whatever information is input. So A passes in, it creates this new version function of contact, and it passes in the name David and this number. So then when they call the function print, so a.print, then it does console log name with the space semicolon and the number. So what did you guys not understand about this one? Because it seems like you guys are having trouble, and so maybe we do need to explain it some more. Anybody who wasn't done want to speak up on what they didn't understand or anything?
I think with this one, you really just needed to look at the question. Because when I started reading the question, that's how I got it.
Oh, okay. By seeing this part right here.
Yeah, and then the colon at the bottom with the
Yeah.
space.
Okay. Oh yeah, that says to add a space. Did
That's all it was asking you to do, is to print out that with the little colon and the space in it. That's all it was asking. Then you just follow the path.
right. So who's still struggling with this one or doesn't understand this one? Does anybody need help solving this one? If so, just unmute and let me know.
Still working on it.
Oh, okay. Do you want to do screen share?
I was following you, but yes. No. See, I got absolutely lost and had to start following deleted what I did, start writing.
Okay. It looks like you just need to add a colon and a space right there on line 5. Yeah, right there.
Said colon.
Uh-huh. No, a regular colon and then a space. And then just add plus after, so go outside the quotes and then add a plus this dot number.
You said
yeah, this dot number. Okay, have a good one, Fabian. Now hit run. And there you go. Is anybody else struggling with this one? Still needs help?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Can you do screen share?
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, you've got, so delete line 13.
Oh.
And try hit and run.
Oh,
And
there it is.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to put it at the bottom. I was just inputting it in the wrong place in
Oh,
the beginning.
no worries. All right. Anybody else need help with this one? No? Okay, then we will move on. All right, so now moving on to arrays, which are similar to, well, they're more like lists. But anyway, Peter, can you read this one?
Oh, they got me. Where we at? Let me see. Oh, right in front of me. Array store. Am I looking at the right page?
Yep. Yeah.
Array store multiple values in a single variable. To store 3 course names, you need 3 variables. Like black course 1, HTML, black course 2, CSS, black course 3, JS. But what if you have 500 courses? The solution is an array. Black courses containing array, HTML, CSS. This syntax declares an array name courses, which stores 3 values or elements.
Okay. So take a second and answer the next question.
Okay.
All right. 2 keywords. What 2 keywords do we need to create an array? New and array.
All right.
All right. Will, can you read this one?
Boy, but I'm still playing catch up.
Okay. Mark H, can you read this one?
Yes. Accessing an array. Refer to array element by referring to the index number written in square brackets. This statement accesses the value of the first element in courses and changes the value of the second element. Bracket 0 is the first element of any array. Bracket 1 is the second. Any array index start with 0.
All right. Take a second and answer the next question.
Hey, Brandon, quick question on general JavaScript, but it relates to this. I've noticed this is the second time it's when we have any sort of sequential anything, the first number is always 0. Is that just rule of thumb for everything going forward?
That's not just JavaScript, but that's with programming in general, lists and stuff, across all programming languages, pretty much, as far as all the ones I know, starts with lists start with 0. So
Okay.
yeah, you should get used to that. Yeah, just get used to that.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and so the next one, what's the output of this code? Array 1, so the first one is 0, and then 1, which is the second one, but again, since it starts with 0, 1 is 6, so the answer is 6. All right. Yanni, can you read this one?
Yes. Accessing an array. Attempting to access an index outside of the array returns the value undefined. Our course's array has just 3 elements, so the 10th index, which is the 11th element, does not exist, is undefined.
All right. And then just go ahead and start working on this one. We might as well start reading these together and then we can work on them. So Fabian, can you read this one? Oh yeah, he said he had to go to work. That's right. Okay. Brian A, can you read this one?
All right. The array you are given represents the menu of breakfast options available at the hotel. The chef decided to replace one of the options with fluffy pancakes. Write a program to take the index as input, replace the element with that text index with fluffy cakes, and output the new menu to the console as an array. Sample input 2, sample output be the cinnamon donuts, the waffles, fluffy pancakes, the chorizo burrito, and the French toast.
So
The element, yeah, the element with the index 2 has been replaced with the output of the array. Remember that the first element of the array has 0 index.
So again, on this one, when you want to, let's go back to that. When you want to change the value of the array, just a reminder, so it's the array name and then the item number. So like for this one, it's CSS is what we're changing, equals whatever. Okay, so that's what you're going to need to do to change the array value. So, all right. Let's just keep working on that and raise your hand once you're done. All right, looks like a lot of you are done. So with this one, we've got our array or list, as you'll call it in Python, of breakfasts, and it starts with these items, and then when it passes in this index number, we're going to want to take this index number, so breakfasts and then the index number, and make it equal fluffy pancakes, and then log the current list of breakfasts. So anybody have any questions on that one? Who needs help with that one?
I do again.
Okay. Can you do screen share?
Yeah.
Bring the bracket closer to, so on line 6 or breakfast, and then the bracket index, yeah, delete that space. There you go. Now hit run. Okay, that wasn't it.
Breakfast
Well, maybe you
with
missed.
an S at the
Oh
end.
yeah, it's misspelled. So just add a S
Oh,
and then hit run. Okay, hold on.
Is the F in fluffy and the P in pancakes capitalized?
Yeah, it probably is. Let's try capitalizing it. Good catch, everybody.
yeah,
All right,
it is. Thanks.
good to go. All right, anybody else need help with that one?
Me.
Not that question went through, but I have a quick question on the way they set these questions up. I know you addressed it originally, but it tends to throw me off every time. So on this example, they give line 3, they put the variable of index equals, and then they put this parse int read line. Did you tell us to ignore that, or
Yeah,
I think it throws me off every single time.
Yeah, just ignore it. It's their way of doing some sort of random input, and it's probably, they probably have a file that has a list of different possible answers to input, and it's just randomly picking one of the answers and inputting it. So just leave any of those lines alone that say the parse blah blah blah. Just ignore that, and just use.
So they don't play any role in the equation or in how we answer it. Okay.
No, you don't need to understand what it's doing behind the scenes or anything. It's just know that when they do that, it's going to give you some sort of random user input.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Welcome. Lewis, you want to do screen share?
Oh, I got it.
Oh, cool. Anybody else need help with that one? All right, and then moving on. I'm gonna go a little bit longer today because I think y'all have been probably doing good on your CSS and don't. Well, I'll ask you guys, do you guys think you need more time on CSS on your own, or working on your resume project, or should we keep going till 3:30? Any opinion?
Just keep going till 3:30.
Okay. All in favor of keep going, or we'll do it this way. All in favor of wanting to stop now so you have more time to work on your CSS, raise your hand. Okay, looks like the majority wants to stop now. So this one, the answer is undefined. And we will end there for the day. You guys have more time to work on CSS. All right. Does anybody have any questions on your CSS that you're working on or anything like that? David, do you want to do screen share? Or wait, Ayani, did you have a question about CSS? Because your hand is up first. Or were you just still voting? Ayani, you there? Okay. Well, actually, hold on. Let me stop recording and I'll be right back.